Beautiful girl, you have been used and you won't survive this. Run to God now instead of going to the hospital.
Help me, please. Someone please help me, I'm in pain.
Sarah was heading to City Hospital at night when a madman approached her. Beautiful girl, you have been used. You won't survive this. Run to God now instead of going to the hospital. Sarah looked at him with surprise. Used by who? She whispered to herself. How did he know what I'm going through? She held her tummy tightly. It was just after midnight, so what was this madman still doing walking around at this time? She quickly entered the hospital, trying to push the strange encounter out of her mind. Inside, Nurse Mary was almost falling asleep at the front desk. She was fighting hard to keep her eyes open when she had the automatic doors open. She looked up and was shocked to see a young woman stumbling into the entrance. The woman was holding her stomach and her face showed pain and fear. Nurse Mary's eyes grew big. She jumped up from her chair and ran towards the woman. Please, the young woman said with difficulty as she leaned against the wall. Help me. Nurse Mary rushed forward and gently helped her to a chair. Miss, are you okay? What happened? The woman tried to breathe normally. Please, get the doctor, she said with a shaking voice. It is better if the doctor sees it than if I explain it. Mary looked worriedly at another nurse who had just come over after hearing the noise. Without waiting, she picked up the phone and called Dr. Grace. Dr. Grace was the doctor working that night. Dr. Grace was in her office looking through some patient files when the phone rang. She had always been calm when dealing with emergencies. People knew her for staying focused and clear-minded even in difficult situations. But there was something in Nurse Mary's voice that showed this was urgent, and it made Dr. Grace's heart beat faster. A patient just came in. She looks very upset. She wants you to come right away, Nurse Mary said. Dr. Grace stood up, grabbed her stethoscope, and put it around her neck. I'll be right there. A few moments later, Dr. Grace walked into the entrance area. She saw the young woman sitting down with her hands on her head, looking tired and scared. Dr. Grace walked up to her. Hello, I am Dr. Grace. Can you tell me what happened? The woman looked up with a helpless expression. Please, I can't explain it. You just need to see it first, she whispered. Please hurry. Dr. Grace could see the fear in her eyes. She nodded quickly and helped the young woman stand up. All right, let's get you to the examination room. In the examination room, Dr. Grace gently helped the woman lie down on the table. She noticed the woman was shaking. Her fingers were holding the edge of the table so tightly that her knuckles turned white. Take a deep breath, Dr. Grace said softly. Can you tell me your name? Sarah. My name is Sarah, the woman said. Dr. Grace nodded, trying to make her feel less anxious. Sarah, I'm going to do a quick checkup to understand what is causing you so much pain. Can you tell me where it hurts? Sarah's face looked down and she waited before finally pointing to her lower stomach. It's down there, she said quietly with embarrassment and fear. Please, just take a look. Dr. Grace's face stayed calm and kind as she got ready to begin the examination. But when Sarah opened her legs, Dr. Grace stepped back in horror. She had not expected what she saw and was not prepared for it. Oh my God, she said quietly, unable to believe what she was seeing. There were tiny white maggots crawling and moving in Sarah's most private area. It was a sight so disgusting and unnatural that a cold chill went down her back. Sarah's face twisted in pain as she began to cry, grabbing the doctor's hand. Please, doctor, help me. I don't know what is happening. I don't want to die. Dr. Grace took a deep breath, forcing herself to stay calm. She had seen many cases of infections and sicknesses, but this was unlike anything she had ever seen before. Sarah, I'm going to do everything I can to help, but I need you to be strong, all right? Sarah nodded while crying.
Sarah, relax. I will try my best to help you.
Thank you, doctor.
I have some questions for you, Sarah. This will help me understand your situation better.
Okay, doctor.
Sarah, this is an unusual condition. I have given you something to help with the pain and I have cleaned the area. I need to know your medical history.
Dr. Grace had done what she could to help Sarah feel stable by giving her an injection and removing some of the maggots. She sat down across from her. Sarah, this is very unusual, she began carefully. I've given you something for the pain and cleaned the area, but I need to know more. When did you first notice anything wrong? Sarah wiped her tears away. It started about 2 days ago. I noticed a strange smell and felt uncomfortable. I tried cleaning myself, but it didn't help. The maggots just stopped growing. Dr. Grace asked in a low voice, Are you sexually active? Sarah paused before nodding.
I need to know when you are last intimate with someone. It might help. Sarah was embarrassed but replied, I was with my boyfriend Michael about a week ago. Dr. Grace sensed Sarah's condition might be connected to Michael. Something didn't fit any medical category she'd seen before. 1 week ago, and you noticed this 2 days later after you were with him. Dr. Grace paused. Has anything changed in your life recently, in your relationship? Sarah's face grew troubled. Michael changed. Recently, he started spending time with wealthy friends. He started acting strange. I can't even recognize him now. Have you noticed anything unusual about Michael? Sarah looked away sadly. Nothing unusual except he would always talk about wanting more from life and leaving poverty behind. He was just trying to fit in. Dr. Grace's instincts told her there was more to the story. She knew of supernatural beliefs and dark sacrifices for wealth and power. After what she'd seen, she couldn't ignore it. The next morning, Dr. Grace consulted Dr. James, the hospital's senior gynecologist known for handling rare cases. She described Sarah's condition in detail. I've never seen anything like it. It's almost as if something mystical is happening. Dr. James's eyebrows raised. This sounds disturbing. It reminds me of stories about people suffering strange illnesses from spiritual manipulation. Dr. Grace felt a shiver. Are you saying this might be supernatural? Dr. James nodded slowly. It's possible. People are sometimes targeted by dark forces through those closest to them. Sarah's boyfriend might be involved in something beyond the ordinary. Dr. Grace was confused. She'd always been scientific, but now she was willing to consider any possibility. Dr. Grace returned to Sarah's room. Sarah, I need complete honesty. I'll do everything to help you, but I need to understand your relationship with Michael. Sarah looked down as a tear slipped down her cheek. I met Michael last year. We were both struggling and poor, but with dreams. For a long time, he was the one person who truly understood me. Dr. Grace nodded. Sarah's voice grew softer. One night, he came home late, acting strange. His eyes looked different, cold, as if he was someone else. He spoke about escaping poverty, saying he'd do whatever it took to be rich. Did he tell you what that meant? Sarah shook her head. No, he was vague, but I could see in his eyes he was serious. He wouldn't listen when I warned him that not everything that glitters is gold. Dr. Grace nodded. Sarah, I think Michael may be involved in something dangerous that affected you. I want to help you find answers. What do you mean? A madman told me I've been used. Dr. Grace took a deep breath. I don't want to use that word used. I think we should contact Michael. I want you to call him and pretend everything is fine. Keep him calm and see if he reveals anything that might help us understand what is happening to you. Sarah's face went pale. You want me to confront him? Not directly, Dr. Grace clarified. Just talk casually. Tell him you're not feeling well and see how he reacts. I'll be listening. If he lets anything slip, it could be important. But if he's pretending, try to provoke him. Make him angry, whichever works. Sarah took a deep breath and nodded. All right, I'll do whatever it takes. Dr. Grace gave her a small recorder. They dialed Michael's number and Sarah held the phone to her ear, forcing herself to stay calm as the line rang.
What did you do to me, Michael? Why am I bleeding maggots after visiting you?
You want the truth? I was tired of living like a nobody, so I used you. You were my sacrifice.
God will judge you, Michael. You're very wicked, selfish, and ungrateful.
After several rings, Michael's voice came through the line, casual and unbothered. Sarah, what's up? I didn't expect a call from you. Sarah clenched her hand around the phone nervously. Hi, Michael. I haven't been feeling well lately. I just wanted to check in with you. You're not feeling fine. What's wrong with you? Sarah blinked, trying to keep her voice casual. It's hard to explain. I've been experiencing some things, some strange things. I thought maybe you would know something about it. There was a pause on the other end, and Sarah grew increasingly nervous before Michael laughed, a hollow sound. Sarah, don't be ridiculous. If you're feeling sick, then you should just go to the hospital or try and rest. But Sarah pushed on carefully, maintaining her tone. But Michael, this thing started after we were together last week. I don't understand it, and I thought maybe you would know. Sarah, he interrupted her sharply with a cold voice. You're asking too many questions. Sarah felt her heart sink. She could hear the lack of care in his voice, the lack of empathy for her suffering. It was clear that something in him had changed. Michael, if there's anything you're not telling me, please, I need to know, she pleaded. Finally, he let out a frustrated sigh.
Fine. You want the truth? I was tired of living like a nobody, Sarah. I wanted more. I needed a way out, and you just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. Her worst fears had been confirmed. What did you do to me, Michael? A chuckle echoed through the phone, very cold and heartless. Nothing personal, Sarah. Let's just say you are useful. Some of us want more from life, so you were my sacrifice. Sarah's hands shook as she held the phone. She had thought she knew him. She had trusted him with her life, and now he had turned her into a pawn in his twisted game for wealth. Dr. Grace, who had been listening to the conversation, gave Sarah a reassuring nod, signaling that she had recorded everything. Sarah finally ended the call, still in shock from the betrayal. Dr. Grace was now convinced that Sarah's illness was beyond the realm of physical medicine. She then decided to invite a pastor to the hospital who could help her understand and hopefully reverse the dark forces that had trapped her. As Sarah told her story, Pastor David listened carefully, nodding as she spoke. Sarah, you are the victim of a ritual. What you are experiencing is the result of a dark spiritual exchange, something Michael started without your knowledge. You only have 5 days left because the sacrifice has been successful. But take heart, there is a way to break it. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. Please, Pastor, I will do anything. I just want to be free of this curse. Pastor David nodded. There is hope, Sarah. God's power can overcome any darkness. I want you to begin by praying the Psalms from now on, especially at midnight when the power of prayer is strongest. Start with Psalms 35, Psalms 91, and Psalms 109. These are prayers of protection and deliverance. He then prayed for her and left. That night, Sarah sat on the floor of her hospital room with a Bible on her lap. She opened Psalm 35 and started to pray with the words, Contend, Lord, with those who contend with me. Fight against those who fight against me. The words echoed through the quiet room, filling the air with a strange, peaceful energy. She continued with Psalm 91, feeling a warmth surround her as she spoke the words of protection and faith. As the clock struck midnight, she finished with Psalm 109. She prayed strongly as her soul reached out for deliverance. Miraculously, days later, Sarah's condition began to improve. The maggots disappeared and the pain lessened. Dr. Grace and Pastor David were amazed by the change, knowing that something supernatural had taken place. When she became stronger, Sarah, along with Dr. Grace, went to the police with the recording of Michael's confession. They filed a report and the authorities immediately started an investigation. When the police arrived at Michael's apartment, they found a disturbing scene. Michael had lost his mind. He was sitting outside looking confused, with torn clothes, talking nonsense. It was as if the darkness he had released had turned back on him, eating him from within. The officers quickly held him and took him away. The recording of Michael's confession and the testimonies of Dr. Grace and Pastor David painted a clear picture of his intentions, leaving no room for doubt. Michael was formally charged and would face trial for his actions. But first, he would be put in the police psychiatry hospital until he regained his senses. Days later, Sarah was released from the hospital. Just before she left, she went to Dr. Grace's office. I don't know how to thank you, doctor. You saved my life in more ways than one. Dr. Grace smiled. Sarah, I didn't do this alone. You are strong enough to face what happened and brave enough to trust us to help you. You took the steps to break free. Sarah sighed, feeling a mixture of relief and thankfulness. I never thought I would survive, especially after realizing what Michael had done to me. I trusted him, believed in him, and he betrayed me in the worst way. Dr. Grace smiled gently at her. Betrayal can be deep, but it doesn't define who you are. You are more than what you went through. You have a future, Sarah, one filled with hope, healing, and possibilities. Sarah nodded. I do feel different, lighter, as if a dark cloud has lifted. Sarah went back to her studies, feeling stronger and more focused than ever before. She returned to her life, determined to make the most of the second chance she had been given. She also promised to intentionally build a relationship with God and to never engage in any sexual relationship with any man until she was married. She continued to keep in touch with Dr. Grace, who was now like a sister to her. Thank you for watching.